Hello and welcome to Mum's Work and Chaos. We all know the saying, it takes a village to raise a child, but where is that village? Well, I started this podcast to help you find yours, and I'm joined by some amazing guests this season, talking about subjects such as fast fashion, menopause, sex education and teenage behaviour, just to name a few. So join me this season and I hope you enjoy this episode. Hello and welcome to this episode of Mum's Work and Chaos with me, Louise. Today I am joined by the Lorna Hayward, founder of Pizzup, the ultimate girls' night out. Honestly, I've been on one and it was amazing. My life has changed and I'm desperately awaiting the chance to purchase my tickets for the next one. Welcome, Lorna. Do you want to tell us a bit more about you, what you do? And
thank you for having me. I was just saying, I was like, Louise, are we actually doing the face-to-face thing? So I was like that, quick, sort of darn it out. I'm Lorna. I founded Pizzup, which is a night out for women, not only mums, but women in general, about in 2016, I think, because my middle daughter was born in 2015. It was around a year after she was born. I've kind of run that as my creative side hustle alongside working in marketing and being a mum of three for the last 7 years, I guess.
Wow.
And it's bonkers. I still can't believe it's sort of still ticks along and I'm still doing it. And B, I can't sort of believe there's still that many women that want to come. Each time I do it, before I put the tickets out, I think someone messaged me the other day and was like, oh, I've got a book launch, like, do you ever worry? Oh, it's Stacey Hill, do you ever worry that no one's going to turn up? I'm like, yeah, every time. Like the doors, I'm at the Clapham Grand, Jamie's on the decks, we're waiting, and I'm quite moody and stressed by that point. And I'm like, can you just play the music? Can you just start music now? Because like people are going to start coming in. It's 7 o'clock. Oh. And then I'm like, can I swear?
Yeah, of course. Oh. Go for it.
I'm always like, I'm like, shit. No one's gonna turn up. And then you just see one person come in, and then another woman, and then another woman. And you're like, okay, well, there's three, that's it. It's only, okay, there's more. So every time, still like, shit, people are still buying tickets, and it's been 7 years. So yeah.
You know what? So one of my friends, Kirsty, who I managed to make some really good mum friends from school, and
that's the golden ticket.
Exactly. And we just big each other up, and we love each other, and we download, and we go for breakfast, and we rant, and it's brilliant. We're our own little therapy group. It's fab. But Kirsty sent this link into the WhatsApp group, and we were like, yeah, let's do it. And I'd obviously seen your posts on Instagram because that's where I live anyway, and I was desperate to go, but I didn't think I knew anyone who'd go with me, and she popped it in there. I was like, yes, let's do it. And then our two other friends came with us as well, and honestly, we had such a good time. We were everywhere. We were on the dance floor, we were by the bar, and
I'd love to hear as well what it's like on the other side, and it's like, because it is different every time. Sometimes I got to the point, even with my one in April coming up, I'm like, is there anyone over garage yet? Do I need to rethink? And I think Jamie as well is a bit like, you might need to mix this up a bit. We don't meant to think.
No.
And I remember that so many people are only coming for the first time. There is so many Pizzup OGs that have been or they've come to the first two, and then actually they had a massive hiatus and then have come back for the last three or whatever.
Yeah.
But I do realize that most, my friend Lauren, I call them my clipboard bitches, but they're essentially my friends who, are amazing.
Around.
Yeah. They're my comfort blanket, because it is just me behind the scenes. Yeah. It's just me on the WhatsApp with everyone from the Clapham Grand, and going we've run out of something here, you need to get back there, so-and-so's arrived at the green room, la 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 la. Yeah. But they are my moment. And whenever I speak to them, I'm like, what was the night like from your perspective? Because especially as they've got bigger, I've kind of like spent quite a lot of time hiding behind the stage because I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, I can
Like,
get that.
yeah.
But also, like, you're the face of Pizzup as well. And so, like, I think I saw you walking around a few times, and I was going to say hi. And I was just like, no, because I'm also in marketing and I've also done events. I know what it's like when you've got your event hat on, and I didn't want it like interrupt your process. And you were saying hi to a few people that you knew, but equally I could see that you were like on a mission. And I was like, I'm not gonna disturb Lorna right now, but I thought maybe towards like the end of the night, I'd like grab you and say hi.
Well, I was probably trashed by that point, and like doing the caterpillar on the dance floor.
Well, we had to go before it finished, unfortunately, because my friend had an issue with her childcare. But like we were there for a good long time, and we took full advantage of the face glitter and the drinks that you get with your ticket and the snacks that were there, and the bar was the friendliest bar I've ever been at. There was no competition to get to the front of the queue. I got there at the same time as another lady, and she let me go first. It was it's nice. It wasn't like,
I try and explain that feeling.
Business, trying to get hold of the bartender. And the bar staff were lovely, and they were great as well. And they were just there for a laugh too. You could tell.
And I think that's the thing.
Having a good time.
I've tried to sort of, create this space of inclusivity and feeling like you can, it's all comes down to, and I've probably spoken about this till I'm blue in the face, but it comes down to what I felt I needed of like, can I walk into a room full of women, which in itself is pretty and can be pretty like intimidating. Can I would like to walk into a room full of women who are inclusive, who are friendly, who I don't feel threatened by, who I could be on my own and be swept up like in a little cocoon of niceness.
Yeah.
And that is kind of it has taken quite a lot of time. There's been like, ebbs and flows of Pizzup where I think for a while, it sort of fell into a bit of the realm of a bit influencery.
Yeah.
And I think that's not, in that phase, that was in a way great. It gave Pizzup exposure, which I totally wasn't expecting. Pizzup started with 35 like just local mums in a cafe. So like it definitely wasn't what it was like with me playing a playlist. Like but so that kind of phase of there being more sort of like, everyone's doing boomerangs and everyone's tagging each other.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that wasn't great for that moment, but really what I wanted it to become and what I wanted it to evolve into was just a really friendly, inclusive night out that women could come to if they were on their own, because they just wanted to go out and knew that then, like, if they just have in their head, I just want to go out, I really need a good dance, maybe I'm drinking, maybe I'm not. I want to listen to music that kind of, when that comes on, you're like, oh, this takes me back. And it's just a safe space, and all of that comes from me briefing as well the bar staff to say, and the security. Now, like, I would never have been like briefing security like when I was doing it in the coffee shop, but now that, when you're doing a bigger venue, and I'm like, there needs to be no kind of like any aggro. There is not going to be aggro tonight, apart from like the stage invaders that usually happens about 11 o'clock, and I'm like, yeah, they're fine, let them on the stage. But that's all part of the atmosphere that I try hard to create, that it's not, you can come on your own, you can come with a group. I had like Susie Cox, who's so lovely. She's an ex-gladiator, which I was like, that's cool. She came with her 18-year-old daughter because they wanted to go out. That she's still a bit of a raver and loves partying. Her daughter's kind of, very much in that phase. But she's like, where could we go together? Like, I don't want to go with like where we don't feel safe, where she can wander off, go to the toilet. I can go to the bar, meet her back on the dance floor. And I loved that, a woman in her 50s brought her daughter in who was 18, and they still rave together. That felt really magical for me.
We had such a great time, and we 100%, I think I could go on my own. You know, we were on the dance floor with a bunch of other people, and there was the four of us, and there was like a group of like 6 or 8 other ladies, and they were not all friends who had come together. They were two groups that had merged.
Yeah,
and
I love that.
and then literally one of them came up to me and she just was like, love your trousers. I was first time ever I was brave enough to wear sequin trousers.
Yes.
On a night out.
Everyone rolls out the sequins at Pizzup, and it's like, what are we saving them for?
Good. I was sequin trousers, a black top, a bum bag slung across my chest, which I've never done in my life before, and white trainers. And I just thought, this is what I should have dressed like as a teenager. This is who I should have been. And I was out there on the dance floor raving it up with my friends, and I just thought, you know, comfy footwear. Why do
Oh my
this
God.
if I don't have
the trainers and the sequins is an excellent combo.
Yes,
because also like there's also a feeling of dancing like you know, without any, I mean, there shouldn't be anyway, should there? No matter where you are, but there is just a freeing feeling, I think, and that's a lot of the feedback. It's like I just felt like my shoulders dropped, and maybe the Grand, I think the venue, depending on, you know, I'm pretty fussy where I do it these days, because there is a feeling of like the doors have closed, like it's like no one's watching. Go for your life.
Oh, 100%. And like we were bringing out the old school moves. You know, we had the handguns, we were doing everything. It was amazing. And like people were just like chatting. And so we were in the glitter queue, and someone said, oh, I really like your bum bag. Where's that from? And someone else on the dance floor was like, wow, your trousers are amazing. Where are they from? And then we all just, there was no feeling of like and cliqueiness or exclusivity. It was a really inclusive place. And the queues for the toilets, there were none. And people were just happy having a chat in the queue. Like, you know, when you go to like the theatre and you're in that huge queue to go
yeah,
and everyone's just like, oh no, we can't possibly.
But that's the thing, I think it's like those trying to get those moments as well. And every time again, it's like, oh, is it worth me getting those little extras for the loos? But it's like, you know, it was based on, you know, the retro, you'd go to a club when you're, you know, and you'd basically get a lollipop.
Totally got that feeling as well.
Yeah, you know, whatever. It was like, let's do that, but kind of elevated. And, you know, I think because I know how much of an effort it takes sometimes just to go out, or just to have, you know, got out the house, or regardless of, you know, children or not, it's, you know, a lot of people can't be asked. And I think I wanted to add all these little extras in just to make it feel like, oh, okay, that's really nice. I'll go to the toilet. Oh, right, there's really nice Percy and Reed hair stuff, and I've got L'Occitane hand cream, and I walk back out, there's Tony's chocolate, and they're all the little things that like the added extras that I think make it a bit special. And I know that if I was walking into a room and had all those bits, they'd like kind of make me feel like it was worthwhile getting out of the house.
And it was so nice, and it did have that sort of like late 90s, early 2000s club vibe where you had to pay £1 for a spritz of Impulse, you know. But obviously much better stuff. But yeah, it was really funny. Like just everything was brilliant. And like even the cloakroom staff, like we walked in, went up the stairs to put our coats in, and even the cloakroom staff were like, your husband was already on the decks and started things off, and even they were, you could hear like the hum of the music upstairs, and they were upstairs, you know, bopping. They were bopping while they were doing the coat.
It's when the security staff came onto the stage that I loved it. I think, I don't know whether it was the last one or the one before that. We were playing Tina Turner, and she was like and everyone was just like, woo, she's just doing her moves across the stage. It's just a good vibe. And I always wonder whether it's still going to be like that every time I do it. I'm like, I think this is my last one. I think it will be the last one. I don't think I'll do it anymore. Can't be like doing my gum fingers at 43, but here I am.
Well, the funniest moment for me, and probably not so funny for her, but she equally handled it like a trooper, was Lisa Mafia came on stage, and realised that
yeah.
her top was broken. And
I tried to fix that, by the way, very badly.
she was standing there with her, you know, hand cupping the top of her top, you know, bopping. And then eventually she was just like, I'm really sorry, ladies. I've got to sort this out. I'll be right back. And then came back with her bomber jacket done up. And seriously, if that had happened, I was sat there and I was waiting for the booze, because like I sympathized with her. I understood what was going on, but I was just like, anywhere else there would be a man there booing because he had a broken top and had to go off stage and come back. And she was literally not even 5 minutes. She was off, back, done.
Yeah.
But the cheers she got when she came back were just incredible. Everyone was just like, yes, she did it, she's back. And it was just so supportive and such a loving environment. Like, you know, everyone understood her trouble. Everyone understood.
It's the kind of place where someone probably would have just taken their top off and given it to her.
Yes.
Like that is how everyone, I think, you know, I was trying to fix it, which I clearly did very badly. She was like, my top's gone. But she has been at Pizzup quite a few times now.
Yeah.
I mean, my kind of 23-year-old self would be like, the fact that I can just WhatsApp Lisa Mafia now and again, just, you know, it feeds my soul. But she gets it, you know, yes, she's a woman, but she gets like the feeling of coming out and having a good night out. She gets the crowd. She's really protective of the women that come. Like, she knows. So, you know, sometimes I'm kind of like pulling different garage acts in at certain times, and actually I'm trying to always come back to the people that I know will be good for my my client.
She was brilliant, and she really got the crowd going, and she was wonderful. And I proper fangirled over this because I tagged Pizzup and you and her in a couple of like stories, and she shared my story and I went absolutely ballistic. I was like, oh, and I was like showing my friends, and they were all like, God. And then she wrote to me and she was like, hey babe, hope you had a great night. It was so good. I had such a good time. Thanks for coming. And I was just like,
yeah, she's so amazing.
And I was just like, no, don't be silly. You were fantastic, blah, blah, blah. I hope everything got sorted with your top. And she was like, yeah, don't worry. It was all fine in the end. And I was just like, oh my God. I got home and my husband was like, how much have you had to drink? And I was like, I've had 2 glasses of Prosecco and 1 shot and I'm perfectly fine. I had a coffee on the way home and look at this. And he was just like, oh, he's a huge like garage fan.
She doesn't age either. She doesn't age at all. Where she looked the same since I was like 20 years old.
It's crazy. Like, so the garage is like the one music genre where we like integrate. So I grew up in North London. I was, you know, I had like the hub of pirate radio on my doorstep in Tottenham. Yes. So I could hear everything. And so I mean, like, really, I grew up, I love indie and rock and stuff, but I love garage, like garage and grime. I love it. And he is R&B and hip hop, but also loves garage and grime.
I love that too.
But that's the one area where we really cross over. And so, like, if we're trying to stay awake in the car on the long drive home from somewhere, we'll pop the garage playlist on, we'll bop in the car, you know, having a great time. And so the fact that Lisa Mafia not only reshared my story but wrote to me, he was dead. He was just like, I can't believe she wrote to you. He was so
honestly, they're all like just a really, and it doesn't just land with Lisa Mafia, to be fair. No. Like, you know, they all get the night. Like Alistair from Artful Dodger, they're just and because I feel kind of comforted, like putting on a big night is nerve-wracking, and it's like they all just know, like initially, you know, you brief them, you say, this is the kind of music, this is who's coming, it's all women, so I don't want any, like, you know, of your team to be in the crowd. I don't want you to come with a big group, you know, it's a safe space. And they're also, they get it, they just get it, and it's so easy to kind of work with them and book them for the next ones. Although I am definitely running out of garage acts. I feel like I'm going back round. I mean, I'm having so my next one, I'm having Kelly LaRock. She'll do like a kind of half an hour PA, and she's incredible. I've had her before. And then DJ Luck and MC Neat, who will do an hour set, who are great as well. So
oh my god, I'm so excited. I can't wait.
Well, tickets go on sale on Tuesday at 8:00. So yeah, I mean, there were a lot. So I think a lot of people now, you know, there is this sort of sometimes like, oh my god, will I get a ticket? And they tend to sell out within like a week, but you know, there are a lot of tickets. So
yeah, I mean,
it's kind of panicked.
Oh, it was such a great venue, and also the proximity to the station was amazing. So we thought, because I'm based in Brentwood in Essex, and so I was thinking, oh my god, you know, what's the train journey like? And it was 2 trains. It was super simple. We made it out to be this huge big thing, and it wasn't at all. And getting there was really easy. And then literally we were like, because although I do my research, I didn't necessarily do it very well before we left. And I was just like, right, okay, what happens when we get out the station? And we walked out the station and there it was.
There.
I was like, oh, okay. All we had to do was cross some traffic lights and we were there.
And that's again,
in a queue with a bunch of women all wearing sequins, all having a chat, all having a great time before they even got in the venue.
I think the best bit, I love hearing all the stories like over the years of people going, do you know what? Like I literally got on the train and I thought to myself, she's going to Pizzup. Yeah, she's going to Pizzup. I usually book like we don't live in London anymore, so I book like a travel lodge. Although when we did live in London, sometimes I would anyway, because my mum would be looking after the kids.
Yeah.
We'd stay in the travel lodge and I'd kind of book in and I'd be like, they're going to Pizzup, because you could just kind of tell. And also I feel like everyone's just so friendly. We
played that people watching game on the train as well. We were like, anyone in sequins, trainers, anything like that. We were like, do you think they're going to Pizzup? And it was great. And like the atmosphere on the train on the way home, because although we left a little bit before 11, we weren't the only ones to sort of like trickle out at that time.
Dead leg.
And but even like the atmosphere getting on the train back home, you could tell all the other women who had been there, and like someone had put their garage playlist on the speaker on their phone, and everyone was sort of like on the train on the way home, and it was great. It was so fun. Like the party continued, so don't worry, we were still having a great time on the way back as well. But it's just such a safe, happy, no pressure night out. Like, you know, you even supply like alcohol free options for your free drinks as well, which is fantastic. So if you don't drink, and you know, you get these free drinks included in your ticket, but even if you don't drink, you've got options, which is just amazing. There's literally no pressure at all. And it was just,
I think that's as well, listening to people over the years, like I said, you know, it's evolved, and you start the bigger, you know, there's a big thing, because like I think if you go way back, it's like it's pizza, it's prosecco, it's garage music, which, and you know, it definitely still has all of those elements. But you know, I also really like house music, I like R&B, I like kind of, you know, disco, but and all of that's brought, you know, it's like an 8-hour set, to be fair, that, bless him, Jamie's playing, so he gets to kind of play some of what he likes, but also listening to loads of people going, I'm actually don't drink, so can I still come? I'm like, of course you can. I'm not a mum, can I still come? Of course you can. But it's rather than, you know, then I was thinking to myself, okay, if I wasn't drinking, you know, when I've been out, I don't drink like Diet Coke or lemonade, or I'd actually really like, you know, a nice kombucha, or to try like a mocktail. And that's kind of, that has then triggered, like, actually there's loads of people who don't drink, loads of people who for various reasons are so curious or doing, so actually that's evolved over the last couple of, you know, Pizzups, where I've wanted to have a better option for a non-alcoholic drink, so you're not just walking around with a Diet Coke. And then the same the same goes for sort of the pizza, is that that was really difficult letting that go for the last one. You know, and the feedback, again, listening to people who were actually in the night, they were like, I'm not that bothered. I'm not that bothered about the pizza, and actually the stress that it was bringing, because trying to feed 600 women, like with various dietary requirements, and me, you know, I am a perfectionist, and I wanted, you know, everyone to have this hot pizza, everyone to have this, like, and it was just too much. It definitely worked for a lot of them. But letting that go was kind of, but now that's happened, the feedback again was like, there was so much other stuff going on. Like, you've still got all the snacks, you've still got like all the other kind of treats that you had there. Everything else, there wasn't missing a pizza, but actually the venue were offering food should we want it, or we'll just eat before we come, or we eat on the way home. So yeah, there's kind of small tweaks, but I would say the line running through that always has been is it's a fairly simple concept.
I mean, like, a night out isn't a night out in my head without grabbing a dirty burger on the way home. And so we sort of like we ate something with the kids before we left.
Yeah.
And then we had our night out, and then we grabbed a Mackey's on the way home. That's just the way you do it.
That's the thing. You'll always find me in Clapham Junction McDonald's at 1 o'clock in the morning after Pizzup.
Good. I know where to find
that. That is another highlight of, I think, probably the last few, but especially the last one. I like me, my best mate Joe, and Jamie, all going down to McDonald's in Clapham Junction, and you walk through, and there's just basically loads of shoes on the floor. The last time, there's just loads of women sitting in McDonald's who they're like, Lorna, hi, and I'm like, hi girls, and all just sitting there having like, a lot of food, travel lodge overnighters.
So you mentioned before we pressed record, like, how sort of more why Pizzup sort of started, and that's something I wanted to touch on, because I feel like we had quite similar experiences of our first maternity leaves. And I only had one, so I was in lockdown with my second, and then coming out of lockdown and having to continue working with my third. She was a massive surprise. So I didn't actually have maternity leaves with the last two, but with my first, I was off for 9 months. I was that hot mess mum. I hated doing the baby groups. I was always the last one there, but I felt like I needed to get out the house, because I actually feel like I was quite depressed, and I didn't really realise it. And I was also bored out of my brain, which meant that I actually started a business in my maternity leave and things like that as well. but Pizzup sort of started in a fairly similar way, didn't it? You know.
Yeah, I think it started a bit. I'd had Elsie, and you know, Marnie is my second, and she was about a year, I think. But just, I guess my maternity leaves were similar kind of feelings about, and that's the thing I was saying, I wasn't the hot mess mom. Like, I kind of, if anything, wished I look at the women arriving and be like, why can't I just be more what is actually feeling inside, which I was inside the hot mess mom, but on the exterior, oh no, like the lipstick on, like everything perfect on my buggy, you know, my nappy bag packed with like execution. But actually inside, I felt fucking awful. But I was just chasing being part of something. Because suddenly, you know, I was part of a mixed group of wicked people working in agency in Soho. Then I wasn't. And I obviously had Elsie, and I'd never had a baby before. So I didn't know what the hell I was like, you know, I didn't know, I was learning on the job. But I was definitely craving being a part of something. Just like, I think that's always been part of me. I've always kind of craved to, you know, I've wanted people to like me. I've wanted to be a part of like a great friendship group. But rather than let that happen organically over time, when you work out, you know, not everybody's for everybody. You have certain friends because you just click and you're similar people. I sort of was trying to force it, I think. So I would be the one arriving probably half an hour early to any meeting. like dragging myself up in the middle, like after having not slept, to be at a baby group when I really didn't want to be there. I didn't think like maybe they were my people, whatever. But I don't think I knew who I was. So by the time I had Marnie, I guess that still was there. I then, I'd been back to work, and maybe that was where I kind of felt a bit more like, oh, I'm back in my comfort zone.
Yeah.
But the I know it's what everyone says, that the juggle was real, really real. Trying to get back from Soho for they're only 2 years apart. And I still wanted that night out, and I still was searching to be a part of something. By that point, I definitely, found pockets of my people, 100%.
Yeah.
But it was more like I just had this real urge, and I still do now, with no matter what, whether it being Pizzup, it might be my birthday, or it might be the summer when, like, the garden opens back up at the Haywards, and I'm like, I've just got this real like desire to bring people together. Or if someone knows someone, I'm like, oh, hang on, I know you, I can introduce you to them, and you could, like, I don't know why. And that's kind of, Pizzup was, I guess, born out of that. Like, I would really like to go out with this person. I haven't caught up with them for ages, but actually I haven't caught up with you, and actually you two would really get along. So it was all connecting. That's what I really enjoy. I like connecting people. I like connecting with people. And what was like really a WhatsApp message, me sending out to like my mates and saying, do you want to invite your friends? Like, you're going to have to pay like 15 quid because I need to hire this little cafe, but we'll get like, a glass of Prosecco when we get there, another glass to redeem at the bar, and a pizza. Seems pretty good to me. Maybe it was 20 quid. And everyone was, and I think because I set the date, there's always that thing, isn't there, of like sending out a poll or sending out like, can you do this date? And there's always a reason where if someone else chooses it, it's like, this date's booked. You either make it work or you don't. And actually that's the beauty of Pizzup, I guess. For many people, I'm sometimes organizing someone's birthday or their 40th or their 30th or their NCT meetup or their Hindu, whatever. It's like, well, the date's the date. If you can't make it, no worries, but I do all the work. You buy the ticket and just turn up. So
it's funny, isn't it? Like, that's right. Like, we just went because it was a good night out, but like, you're going to be arranging that around unbeknownst to you, around someone's birthday, around someone's anniversary and things like that as well. And it's amazing. It's such a good night out. And also because I think we went excited as well, and because we went with that enthusiasm, as did the other people who attended, went with that enthusiasm, I think like it just made the night so much better, so much more fun.
Plug in the laptop.
No worries. But it was such a good night, and I loved it, and I can't wait for the tickets to go on sale again, and for and to come to the next one. I'm super excited for it. So I'm going to cut this bit out, but basically I've launched this website, and in it is a resources section where I'm putting, things like people's masterclasses, books and stuff like that into there, so people can find the resources from the podcast and then go and download it and purchase it and stuff. Would it be cool if I put a link to the tickets in there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So and as soon as those tickets go on sale, you can purchase them. You can click the link through the Mums Work in Chaos website and go and buy them as well. So that's super cool as well. I'm really excited.
And it's weird actually, because I don't tend to ever organize. I always think I'm as good as my last Pizzup, and sometimes I'm like, I'm not doing it again. But this time I have basically put the deposit down and saved the date for the April date at the Grand in Clapham, and my second Pizzup on the beach, which I kind of popped my Pizzup on the beach cherry last summer, which was great. And then, you know, taken learnings from that. And actually, I know that like women down here or people, if they want to travel or whatever. So I've already kind of put the deposit down on another venue for June, which usually I have you know, at least a 3-month gap. So I'm a bit like, oh, I don't usually do them this kind of quickly.
No,
yeah, I'm excited. Brilliant.
So I'm guessing Pizzup on the Beach is in Brighton again.
It is in Brighton, yeah. It's going to be at a venue, a club venue called Patterns.
Oh, okay.
So Pizzup Patterns. You can see the pier from, like, you know, the front. It's got some like little decking. But what I think the feedback, again, from not just myself but also other people, there is that element of feeling like you're a bit more enclosed at Pizzup, and, you know, no one's watching type thing. And the first Pizzup on the Beach venue was amazing. Like, we were on the beach. It was beautiful weather. And I felt like it shouldn't have been anywhere else because the sea was literally in front of you. But there was that element, especially because it was, you know, peak sunshine. Everyone else was on the beach, and, you know, the sun doesn't go down till late. So actually, when you were dancing and trying to just feel just kind of let loose a bit, you were still feeling a bit like, oh, there's someone walking their dog. Oh, there's a family having a lovely day, like evening stroll. It felt a bit different. So yeah, I think this venue is going to be wicked. It's on a Thursday. I couldn't get it on a Friday because a lot of these venues as well, I mean, that's great. The Clapham one is going to be on a Friday, which is such great news. Yeah. But, you know, I hire the whole venue, and so what comes with that is a huge venue fee and availability that most of the venues are club, you know, club venues, or they're hosting other events. So they won't give you a weekend. So it's exciting. I've got Clapham on a Friday and Brighton will be on a Thursday. Yeah. So yeah, I think the thing I felt, so it felt, well, it's called the Clapham Grand, and it did feel grand, and it was great. And, you know, you can tell that it used to be a theatre, and it had that sort of, like, it has that amazing feel, but also it's got like that proper, if you've ever been to like the Electric Ballroom or Coco or anywhere like that, it's got that kind of feel as well. And it was just so cool. It felt it had such a cool vibe about it, and you walked in and you felt instantly cool. It was such a great venue. Yeah, it's something really special about walking into the ground and being like, oh wow, it's quite impressive. Yeah, it really is. And it just felt really homely when you walked in, like, you know, like you belong there. Awesome. It was so awesome. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'm so excited for the next load of Pizzup tickets to go on sale. Thank you very much for having me. Oh no, it's been amazing, and I can't wait to act. Well, I will come and hunt you down at the next one. I don't care. Do it. I usually just need a really nice hug. That's usually like, oh, I'm good at hugs. There you go. Good hug. And I can't wait. Well, I'll keep sharing all of your ticket updates and everything on our socials as well. But please do give Lorna a follow. You'll find her on Instagram, Mrs. H Hayward. Everyone always wonders why there's an H. It's my middle name, and Instagram didn't have Mrs. Hayward available. So, but Pizzup is also, I very reluctantly set up my Pizzup Instagram because everyone was like, just do some, you know, it's good to have it separate. And I do see the benefits. So I'm Mrs. H Hayward. Pizzup is at This Is Pizzup. Yes, it's such. And the links will be on both. I'll kind of spread it across because I think not everybody follows either. No, but do give both accounts a follow, especially if you want to stay up to date with all the Pizzup stuff. But yeah, it's been amazing having you on. Thank you so much for joining me. Please make sure to subscribe on whatever broadcasting channel you're listening on at the moment. Or if you'd like to get involved, feel free to email me at mumsworkandchaos@gmail.com or follow us on Instagram at mumsworkandchaos. See you then.